So let me paint you a picture. You wake up, you skip breakfast because you're already running late. You sit down at your desk at 8 o'clock. You're stressed about the first meeting even before it starts. By 10:30, you're grabbing something from the vending machine, and lunch is a sandwich eaten over your keyboard. By 3 p.m., you're crashing hard. Maybe you're grabbing something sweet just to survive the afternoon. You drive home exhausted, you eat dinner, and then you start the whole thing again tomorrow. Does that sound familiar? If you have diabetes or type 2 diabetes, that schedule, that routine, is it working directly against your blood sugar every single day? And here's the thing, it's not your fault. Nobody told you that sitting for 8 hours straight, eating at your desk, and grinding through chronic work stress is essentially a recipe for blood sugar chaos. But now you're going to know exactly what's happening and exactly what to do about it. Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Andy Hill. I'm a pharmacist, personal trainer, and a type 2 diabetes health coach. In this video, I'm going to break down the 3 biggest blood sugar challenges of a desk job: sitting, stress, and snacking. I give you practical, realistic game plans so you can start using this week. So let's start with sitting, because this one surprises people. Most people think blood sugar management is about what you eat. And yes, food matters, but how long you sit without moving, that has a massive underappreciated impact on your glucose level. So here's the biology. Your muscles are actually the largest glucose disposal site in your body. When your muscles are actively contracting, even lightly, they pull glucose out of the bloodstream and use it for fuel. This happens through a mechanism called GLUT4 transporters, which are basically little glucose doors on your muscle cells that open up during movement. So when you sit for hours, those doors don't open. Glucose has nowhere to efficiently go. Blood sugar stays elevated, your pancreas keep pumping out insulin trying to deal with it, and over time your cell stops responding as well to that insulin. That's insulin resistance. And sitting for a prolonged period is one of the underrated contributors to that. A study published in the Diabetes Care found that breaking up prolonged sitting with just 3 minutes of light walking or simple resistance movement every 30 minutes significantly reduced post-meal glucose levels compared to sitting continuously. 3 minutes every 30 minutes. So what does that look like at a desk job? You don't need a gym, you don't need to change clothes. Here's what actually works. Option 1, a walk break. Set a timer on your phone for 30 to 45 minutes. When it goes off, get up, walk to the water cooler, walk to a coworker's desk instead of emailing, walk to the bathroom on a different floor. Walk is enough to matter. Option number 2, desk movement. Calf raises while seated, standing up, and sitting back down 10 times. That's basically a squat. March in place, do 10 standing shoulder rolls. These feel small, but they're activating muscles and signaling those GLUT4 transporters. Option number 3, rethink your lunch break. Even a 10 to 15 minute walk after lunch has a strong research behind it for blunting those post-meal blood sugar spikes. You eat, you walk, your muscles absorb that glucose before it has a chance to spike as high. This is one of the highest ROI moves you can make. So the bottom line on sitting, movement is medicine, and it doesn't have to be intense. It just has to be frequent. Now let's talk about stress. And I want you to take a second here because I think this is one of the most overlooked piece of blood sugar management, especially for working adults. You probably already know that chronic stress isn't good for you. In fact, I made a video about it. And if you're interested, click on the link at the end of the video. But do you know the actual mechanism of how it raises your blood sugar? Because once you understand it, it changes how you think about your whole workday. When you experience stress, whether that's difficult meeting, a deadline, a conflict with a coworker, even just a packed inbox, your body activates what's called the stress response. Your brain signals your adrenal glands to release cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones tell your liver to release stored glucose into the bloodstream. Your body thinks that it's in danger and it needs fuel to either fight or flight. The problem is you're not fighting or fleeing. You're sitting at your desk. So that glucose floods in, your pancreas releases more insulin, and if your cells are already insulin resistant, that glucose hangs around in your bloodstream, having nowhere to go. This is called stress hyperglycemia. And for people with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, this is a real clinical issue. You can eat perfectly and still see your blood sugar creep up during a stressful day. So what can you actually do about it at work? First, nasal breathing during stressful moments. So when you feel tension rising before a meeting, during a difficult call, slow down your breathing, 4 count through your nose, 4 counts out. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, calming branch, and it counteracts the cortisol response in real time, and it takes about 60 seconds. Second, name the stressor out loud. Research has shows labeling an emotion and saying to yourself, I'm stressed about this deadline, actually reduces amygdala activation, the part of your brain driving that stress response. It sounds simple, but it works. Third, protect your cortisol rhythm. Cortisol naturally peaks in the morning and drops through the day. So when you skip breakfast, go for a long time without eating, and then stress, crash by 3 p.m. and grab something sweet, you're riding a cortisol roller coaster that drags your blood sugar along with it. Regular time eating and genuine micro breaks help flatten that curve. So I'm not asking you to eliminate work stress. That's not realistic, but you can manage your physiological response to it, and that directly shows up in your glucose numbers. Now let's talk about snacking. because this is the one people think that they already figured out, and usually they don't. The office environment is genuinely hostile to blood sugar management. Someone brings donuts on Monday, there's a candy dish on a receptionist's desk, the vending machine is 10 steps away from your office, the 3 p.m. crash hits, and suddenly every instinct in your body is screaming for something sweet or starchy. And here's why. When blood sugar drops after a glucose spike, after skipping meals, after prolonged stress, your brain reward system lights up specifically for fast-acting carbohydrate. It's not a lack of willpower, it's biochemistry. Your brain wants glucose and it wants it fast. The fix is to not get into the situation in the first place and to have better options ready when it happens. Here's the framework I teach my clients. I call it work snack stack. Layer 1, anchor your mornings. The single biggest thing that determines your afternoon energy and craving is what you eat in the first 2 hours of your work. Stabilizes your blood sugar through the morning and reduces that cortisol driven crash that sets up around 3 p.m. disaster. So if you skip breakfast or eat something pure carb, just toast, juice, just a pastry, you're setting up for a glucose roller coaster before 9 a.m. Layer number 2, have a planned mid-morning and a mid-afternoon snack. The goal here is not to be hungry between meals. Hunger is where the vending machine wins. Keep something at your desk that combines a protein with a small amount of fiber. Real options that work. Hummus with raw veggies, a small portion of cottage cheese. None of these spikes your blood sugar. All of them keeps you full and focused. And critically, they break the cycle of getting so hungry that the only thing that sounds good is a bag of chips or a candy bar. Layer number 3, the 3 p.m. rule. When the crash hits, before you reach for anything, drink a full glass of water and take a 2-minute walk. Mild dehydration and blood sugar fluctuation can feel almost identical. Fatigue, difficulty focusing, craving for sweets, a lot of times hydration and movement will take the edge off. If you still need a snack after that, have your planned one, but you're choosing from a place of steady physiology, not desperation. And one more thing, be thoughtful about what's in your workplace. If the candy dish is on your desk, it's going to disappear. If the almonds are in your drawer, those will disappear instead. You eat what's in front of you, make your environment work for you, not against you. So here's what I want you to take away from this video. Managing blood sugar at work isn't about being perfect. It's not about refusing birthday cake in the break room or becoming the person who announces they're going for a walk every 30 minutes. It's about understanding what your body is doing during those 8 hours you spend at work and making a deliberate choice that works with your physiology instead of against it. Move a little more often, manage your stress response, not just your stress, and eat in a way that keeps your blood sugar steady instead of a roller coaster. That's it. Demanding job. You're already managing health conditions on top, and I'm not here to add to the list. I'm here to make it simpler because it genuinely helps. So if this video was helpful, hit the like button. It genuinely helps the content to reach more people who are dealing with the same challenges you are. And if you're managing prediabetes or type 2 diabetes and you want a clear step-by-step framework, not just the tips, but a real system for food, movement, sleep, and stress, check the link in the description. That's the foundation I use with every coaching client. I also have a video on how food order affects your blood sugar. Same meal, same calories, 73% lower glucose response just by changing the sequence. I'll link that here because it fits perfectly with everything we talked about today. So thanks for watching, guys. You're already doing the right thing by being here. I'll see you in the next one.